What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson. Yes, Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Tyson says, and he blasts Whyte's resume. He said, Mickey Mouse title. What's he actually ever won? Tyson Fury doesn't buy the idea that Dillian Whyte is entitled to a title shot. Manchester's Fury is set to defend his title against that guy, Whyte, his mandatory challenger, on April 23rd. For Whyte, the opportunity has been long coming. The Jamaican-born, London-based heavyweight has long wanted the WBC opportunity, but it, of course, fell to the wayside, despite being for years the top contender with the sanctioning body. As Fury's mandatory, Whyte is completely deserving of the fight. Fury, though, thinks Whyte is far from being worthy or a worthy candidate based on his body of work and accolades. Whyte obviously has only ever won regional and interim belts. He said, if we go on merit and titles won, what has he actually ever won? Fury possessed to IFL TV. Let me tell you, because you can't get involved. He's won the British title before, but that's it. One could, of course, argue that Whyte's supposedly insubstantial body of work is theoretically why he needs the bureaucratic muscle of the outfit like the WBC to deliver an opportunity that he would otherwise fail to materialize by his own efforts alone. And just don't accept Fury to buy that reasoning. He said he won some WBC intermediate title or whatever it was, but it's not a real title, Fury said of Whyte. It's not an official belt. Whatever. WBC silver. That's like a Mickey Mouse belt. I hope that the WBC don't mind me saying that, but it's not a world title. Mauricio himself would say that. It's not a world title. It's stepping stone for a belt for a young fighter that's coming up. Let me counterpunch, because this needs counterpunching. I agree with Tyson Fury in terms of what Mauricio would say, because Mauricio would, because he's a backstabbing fucking guy. He's a politician. He would say that's not a real title, just like he said that about Devin Haney's title when Devin Haney wasn't around. Until Devin Haney was around, then he was a real title. Full of shit. Okay? So if Tyson Fury feels that's not a real title, at least he's speaking his mind, right? That it's not. But talking about bodies of work, if you look at Whyte's resume, and we have to look at Whyte's resume versus Tyson Fury's. If you notice, Tyson Fury always talks about belts won, but he never really talks about belts defended. He just defended the belt that he took from Deontay Wilder last year. So this is all new to him. In all of the fights, in 11, 12 years pro, he has never defended anything that he's actually won, and he only won it once at that time. Okay? He beat Wilder for the WBC. That made twice. He just defended it. Just defended it, and then wanted an interim fight when it came to unification. Okay, full unification. So, besides Klitschko, Klitschko, Wilder, Whyte, who has he really fought? See, if he's talking about Dillian Whyte, all right, let's look together. You look at Tyson Fury's resume, and when he beat Vladimir Klitschko, he beat Vladimir Klitschko. He beat Christian Hammer, then he beat Vladimir Klitschko. He was 25-0. When it was time for him to step the fuck up, mentally, he crashed, right? Which, you can't really blame that on anything, so I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but besides Vladimir Klitschko, Derek Chisora also was defeated by Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte beat Derek Chisora too, so you can't use that. But then again, yes, you can, because the question was from Tyson Fury, who was Dillian Whyte actually beat. Okay, but let's look at Tyson. You know what? Let's look at Dillian Whyte. Okay, Dillian Whyte, his record. All right, Dillian Whyte's record and the people that he's fought. Okay. He lost to Anthony Joshua. Okay. That wasn't for a title, though, but he fought Anthony Joshua. So that's one up on Tyson Fury, a fight that could never happen for whatever reason. Then he beats David Allen, which David Allen at the time was very, not David Allen, but David Price. But he beats David Allen. Then he fights Derek Chisora. Okay. He fights Derek Chisora. Then he fights Robert Helenius, which took out Cal Naki recently, right? Then Lucas Brown, which was undefeated, despite what people thought, because he was the TRN. He was somewhat of a force at one point until he, of course, they caught him cheating, drugs. Then Joseph Parker, okay? Then Joseph Parker, then Derek Chisora, then Oscar Rivas, which is a guy that Tyson Fury didn't want to fight for that silver belt or whatever, and that was before he fought Wilder for the second time. So he fought the guy that Tyson Fury refused to fight, okay? And he damn near paid a price for it because Oscar Rivas dropped him in the 9th round. It was a very scary day for Dillian Whyte on top of all that other shit, okay? Then Alexander Povetkin, he gets knocked out by Povetkin. Then he comes back and stops Povetkin. Now he's fighting Tyson Fury. So you have Povetkin twice, Derek Chisora twice, Joseph Parker, right? Lucas Brown, Robert Helenius, and Oscar Rivas. So that's 5 people. That's on Derek Chisora. So you ask who is Dillian Whyte? That's Dillian Whyte's. So if you ask who Whyte has fought, that's who he's fought. Compared to who? What about Tyson Fury? So we can apply that same method. We can look at Tyson Fury's okay. You fought Whyte? No, you ain't fought him yet. Sorry. You fought Deontay Wilder 3 times. Then Vladimir Klitschko. Okay. Christian Hammer's not bad. Derek Chisora's not bad. But then what are you expecting to get from blasting and dissing Dillian Whyte when your resume is you fought Vladimir Klitschko, Deontay Wilder, and Otto Wallin? There's nobody of significance other than that. You know what I mean? Because you hear Tyson Fury talk about, well, hey, I fought Derek Chisora. Yeah, he did fight Derek Chisora. He fought Derek Chisora. He sure did. He fought him twice, just like Dillian Whyte has. Okay, what else do you have? You have Vladimir Klitschko, which you never defended the title. And you took a 3-year layoff for whatever. Bereavement. Then you came back and you fought Pianetta, Safir Safari, Tom Schwartz, then Otto Wallin. Then, so again, if he's going to talk about somebody's resume, your resume was tune up, Wilder, tune up, Wilder. Now, the only thing that has sticked out is Whyte. So for him saying that, if anything, Tyson Fury needs Whyte to fulfill his record because Whyte is a guy that's worth mentioning because Whyte has fought guys worth mentioning. If that makes sense. So Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, Oscar Rivas, Alexander Povetkin. Those guys supersede Francisco Pianetta, Safir Safari, Otto Vailene, and Tom Swartz. Okay? And he didn't even give Vladimir Klitschko his rematch, so we can't even talk about that. He's supposed to beat Vladimir again. So for him saying that, I'm like, dude, your record's sketchy itself. See, Dillian Whyte wasn't a champion or anything. Well, really, neither was he at that time, even though he claimed to have the lineal championship. But that's another thing. You want to talk about the WBC interim belt, but then you're talking about a title that doesn't even exist. Okay, you hold it like this. Bars. Here's the lineal title. I'm the guy that beat the guy, so I have a lineal title, but that's something that Mauricio cooked up. He made that up because he wanted more money for his organization. But Dillian Whyte fought for that belt, whatever it was, and he paid sanctioning fees for that belt, something that you didn't do up to that time because you dropped all those fucking belts. Or they were stripped or whatever for whatever reason, right? Cocaine and nandrolone and, other things like that. Both guys are drug cheats. So I think, if anything, guys, summing this all up, Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte have a lot of similarities. And I think that Dillian Whyte's resume is better than Tyson Fury's. Tyson Fury just did the same thing over and over again and expected people to praise him, which they did. That's the strange part. People praise Tyson Fury for beating Wilder again. Oh, that was brilliant, marvelous. But I'm like, he already did that. So why are we giving him this much praise and he's already beat this guy? I didn't buy the glove gate shit, so that doesn't apply to me. I'm not excited that I'm that surprised that he beat Wilder up. Wilder was a limited fighter, as he always been. Tyson Fury always knew that, so Tyson Fury capitalized on that. And he was given the opportunity that Dillian Whyte wasn't. And that's another factor in this whole equation, because Tyson Fury doesn't understand that Dillian Whyte should have got opportunities and was entitled to opportunities that he got. Dillian Whyte should have fought Deontay Wilder in 2018 or 19. If not 18, definitely 19. He should have been that mandatory, not Dominic Breazeale. Who the fuck did Dominic Breazeale beat to become anything? Some bullshit Mauricio Suleiman cooked up because he promised somebody for some half-ass, shady, under-the-table deal that's something that he's supposed to give to the guy that was the number one mandatory interim champion, Dillian Whyte. That's why Dillian Whyte is so pissed off and so bitter. So Tyson Fury calling that belt a Mickey Mouse belt, well, it's certainly a lot better than the lineal title that you can see right through. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Tyson Fury saying that Dillian Whyte has a Mickey Mouse belt and doesn't deserve a title shot. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.